An intro for this. Should probably make an intro. But welcome to Noise with Ivan. Okay, it's too anticlimactic to have an intro because I don't have the energy to keep it going, right? I have some albums that I've listened to, some from a few different labels. I bought a lot from a handful of labels. One of those labels was, well, one of the labels that I'm so happy with. I don't know. Yeah, the last review I did a episode earlier on. I'm recording another one. I don't know if I'll post the other one. Uh, so I'm gonna kind of briefly hit those albums that I did in that one. Um, One of them is Puke Squeegee. This is from Fermenting Sewage Productions. Came out this year. I thought that the guitars were a little bit too loud, but um, it was a classic, just a classic metal record. I kind of went beyond because my taste is definitely noise music, so I kind of got into gore noise a little bit. And gore stuff in general is such a fun thing to get into, so that's why I reached out to Fermenting Sewage. A lot of this format is what I like. I like the CD, but in a 7-inch style sleeve. Um, that kind of setup. This is how I feel music should be. This is what I feel like modern artists should be doing. In the 90s and stuff, we had the 7 inches and tapes. I get why it's not a good idea. Or no, I get why it's a good idea. I like 7 inches. I collected 7 inches as a kid. But this is a lot cheaper. This is a lot cheaper to do, I think. And you can put a full album on it, so you don't need the whole record label going. I don't know. I'm sure many people disagree with me on that. But for DIY albums, I really like that setup. And I like the idea as opposed to putting them on a shelf. I feel like it should be in a box. I feel like it should be hidden away a little bit. I feel like it's something you should flip through. And I would really encourage that for new artists. But yeah, this the um musically, time wise, I don't know. I'm sure there are some things to be altered, but listening to it as though it's a metal record, I've kind of got a different. We're kind of on a different spectrum here because it's just metal music. It's not like it's noise. It would have had to be a little bit more crazy. It's yeah. It would have had to have some more gore sounds going on. You know what I mean? Because it was just kind of in the vocals. You know. Um, but in that respect, it's leaving. It's pushing the boundaries of what's normally gore noise. I got also from Fermenting Sewage. I got about 20 of these CDs from them, so you'll be seeing them for a little while. Um, I listened to all the burial recordings stuff. So that yeah, I felt like I couldn't hear the drums was the only thing. Um, and I didn't think that was I don't know. They maybe could have been a little bit more in your face, but yeah, I felt like the guitars ate up all the sound as far as it goes. But I mean, can you deny the aesthetic here? The so classic. And the with that's the other thing is you almost always with these um, releases get the little burn around the disc, like you get with older records. Oh, and I'll stick with the gore for now. I have a few things all from Burial Recordings and one from Inner Demon Records. This is Postulated Orifice. sliced open cadaver. I also got it from uh I also got it from fermenting sewage, but it's not released by fermenting sewage. It says all procedures performed by postulated orifice in March of 2021. No contact, just gore. Okay. Um. So this is not maybe, and that's I kind of suspect that it's the same. It's like fermenting sewage, but because I don't have any information on postulated orifice. Postulated orifice. I don't have any information on them. It's low key. There's Discogs pages for this stuff, but not verified ones. um. So yeah, it's tough on like Discogs. And by the way, vote my page. Yes, please. If somebody get my rate your music page in order, I will give you free CDs. If you ask me. Severed Nerve. Severed Nerve just recently started using these sleeves where they're like little envelopes that they're reusable. Like this is almost not reusable, which all the older Perloid releases did. So if you got Perloid CDs in the past, you can start buying them again because they have better sleeves on them. No. All right. On a verbatim disc, as they are. I think we went over some of these before. Congestive gastropaths and Perloid, a split. It says paths on there, but it's gastropathy, and on the logo's impossible to read. Gastropathy, gastropathy, congestive gastropathy. Unsevered nerve, obviously. Autopsy procedures in the clandestine morgue. Infestation of the brain matter. Amputation of severely gangrenous infected regions. Collapse of decomposing hemorrhage tissue. Displays. By the way, that was my number one favorite part, and the reason I specifically asked for this. And then I said I'm going to give you $50. Give me whatever else you can offer me, any backstock that you have, whatever, from fermenting sewage. Sushi Roll Booty Hole is the first track on the Puke Squeegee album. Puke Squeegee's funny too, but Sushi Roll Booty Hole is a hilarious name, and I was like, I have to have it. I'm going to go with congestive gastropathy, and those are all untitled. So good for Perloid in naming his songs, even though he makes so much. This was grade A gore noise, and also postulated orifice was grade A gore noise. Awesome stuff. This is good stuff. I would even say that it's better. Kind of a scary thing to go into saying, than Anal Birth and Gnocchicus. So for gore noise, this isn't gore noise. This is just gore grind is the word. And yeah, it feels really bad, but I don't know. It was to the point where I was analyzing the mix. I was just like focusing on music, so it wasn't noisy enough. Not noisy enough. Oh, I should probably do like a not noisy enough. Not noisy enough. Thing too, if I'm making an intro. I'm not gonna do that though. I'm not gonna do that. I might make an intro. Postulated orifice is great. This is number 1. This is number 2 for my gore noise stuff right now. I might have to listen to this again because this was pretty in depth. A lot going on. Beats, right? Gore noise, right? Regular noise. Everything's going on in this one. This was real Gorn. This is great. This is great. I love this album. Pustulated Orifice. Big fan of that kind of thing. Exactly what I'm looking for from Gore Noise. Um, and yeah, it's expanding. What I'm looking for lately is expanding on noise, but still having it be noise. I don't want really beats or anything like that. I'm not really looking for. I'm looking for noise for sure, but not like not like noise beats. You know, it was funny because Merzbow had that album Merz Beats, and it was like almost rhythmic. Well, no, it was technically very rhythmic, but not. It wasn't beats, as you would think. There wasn't drums, but it was noise. It was noise beats. Yeah, really was. I don't want to. I don't want drums. I want electronics. I will. You know what? And that'll lead me to. Well, first of all, Disorganism. Not that this isn't an album I like. I love this album. Disorganism, or well, this is the album's called Hearth, but it's just says Disorganism, the artist name on it because it's an Inner Demon release. And I also really love the format that Inner Demon uses. But I mean, I'm sure he's familiar with the critique of it's just a name on top of a design. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why they wouldn't release stuff that's not just the name as the cover. So that everything can be uniform. I don't know. I don't get it. I mean, everything does look uniform, and that's pretty cool to figure. Now they're all black and white. I think there used to be some colors to them. And they have the little like listing on there. There's like a different code for each album that's released. And also they sent me, Inner Demon sent me, I don't know, I don't think I bought that many. I think I bought like 5. And they're big on 3 inches. So if you're looking for 3 inches, that's a good label to go to. Tons of 3 inches. But yeah, a ton of little Bandcamp codes that I got. And these albums I did listen to, and they were decent. I'll review them on a later date. I might forget though. I might review them. Maybe not though. This was electronic music. I would say that you can call things like Boards of Canada, Aphex Twin, stuff like that. You can call that IDM, but this suits the subgenre better, I think, or the definition of that subgenre a little bit better. I think, anyway. Or you could say that this is right in there with those. I don't know. I haven't listened to Aphex Twin and Boards of Canada that recently. Big fans. I'm a big fan. I have a Boards of Canada hoodie. And I used to wear it every day but it's just kind of because I don't change clothes. So Disorganism's very cool. I took notes on these albums, and you kind of need to. See, Fantano reviews one album at a time, but I'm not primarily a music reviewer, so. Deep Nettle. Do I have that in this? Yeah, I do. Postural, that was good. Yeah. It's musical, but it's also noise. And it's chaotic, but also calm. It's making for excellent soundscapes as I do my work. Definitely experimental music as well. I mean, I don't think that artists create enough of a soundscape like this very often. It's This is one I think for the dinner party spindle. Okay, the dinner party spindle. The other things that I included on that were Chimera by Bunny and something by Dry Eyes. I don't know what else. Um, this is okay. Yeah. Um, the second track was. Oh yeah. So it would. I mean, there were on some tracks they were more experimental, more soundscapey, more noisy, but then it would get into beats for a little while. So it really had development and growth and it's kind of crazy that you would release this, 42 copies on a label like Inner Demon. But and that's what I have to say. Inner Demon is really an impressive label. That's a crazy amount of music that they're doing. I would, but it normally it's definitely a quantity over quality thing, right? It's like the Dark Rider. Don't let me forget to get into the Dark Rider. I have one tape today because I didn't listen to all the Dark Rider tapes, but I got other than the Chainlink Mistress release. There's um, I got four of them. Dark Rider has a budget series. I suppose to do something more similar to the Inner Demon thing. Um, Super cool, right? But I don't really understand why doing something like, if you know what the Dark Rider covers look like, I guess I'll put an example right here. If you know what those look like, how is this cheaper to print than those? That really does confuse me, unless, I mean, I kind of get it, but I would put a cover on there. I'd throw some art. Evidently, there's not a pause function. Um, and you have to start a new video. But I can't. I could not. I went to chew that ice and I said, I hate when other people chew ice. But I do it too, so so I certainly didn't want to do it on camera. Um, it's just kind of the thing you accidentally do, and then you have to run to the bathroom and chew it the rest of the way up. If you throw a dip in when you're at Bible study, and then you end up swallowing the spit, and you're like, I can't do this anymore, and then you're like, excuse me, I have to go to the bathroom, and you go to the bathroom and spit, and then you go back and sit down, and you have to spit again, so you have to go back to the bathroom. Everybody's like, what is wrong with him? I had to dip in. I didn't have a cup. A lot of times when I used to dip, I would have a coffee cup from Sheetz or Starbucks or something, and you could just take a sip every time if you want to keep it a secret that you were dipping. Because, you can be open about it. I wasn't necessarily not open about it, but I didn't want to openly be spitting in a cup because that might gross people out. Around the boys, you can do it, but as far as if there's women around, they probably won't like that. So if there was ever, and there were. Ugh. So that's a shame. I was talking about Disorganism. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. So a lot of these artists I come by and I'm like, these aren't just as loud as I was relatively unimpressed with Anal Birth. If you're watching this, Anal Birth, love you. Let's do a collab. But other than that, I was not super impressed with. But I only listened to, and also the name of it, the name of the tape that I listened to from Anal Birth was Dead Infant Sodomy, and that's just not a. I like a lot of um gore stuff that I think is goofy or funny. Like I was saying, Sushi Roll Booty Hole is a funny joke to me, but I don't know, some of that stuff, just anything about infants or um, yeah, babies does not rest well with me. There was a image, somebody posted somebody humping a baby doll on stage, and I was just like, that's awful. So some stuff does bother me. I have a pretty thick skin as far as a lot of this stuff goes as a Christian, but that didn't. Sorry, but no. Um, but yeah, this was a really really solid one. What I was saying is that a lot of this stuff is just very out there. You know, like we have harsh noise that's just harsh noise. Um, and that's not a problem for me. I like that. But there are some artists that are just more vocal, and there are a lot of artists. Dry Eyes is one of those that do really, really incredible noise and really, really work with the art. But the community, the noise community, doesn't necessarily lift up incredible art. They lift up the most, um, the stuff with the best covers, the stuff with the best, the stuff that's the most offensive, the stuff that's harshest. So, and I suppose that, there's a different community for, like, so noise and avant-garde music that's related to jazz, which is most of it now, as opposed to stuff that's related to classical, which is maybe a lot of those Denzu Artifacts releases. Like Denzu Artifacts is very separate from something like Fusty Cunt or um, um, what's Prurient's label? Prurient's label, right? Um, but even Prurient is pretty artistically is has pretty great stuff. Like okay, so like juxtapose Tim Hecker with Merzbow. So this organism is something that's in the harsh noise community when it's something that could go great extents in another community with with other stuff. And sometimes you just have to get out there. But and the really cool thing about it is that some of that stuff is really conjoined. Like a lot of harsh noise or a lot of noise artists are involved. Like really appeal to both. Um, so yeah, and with this logo, the Noise Not Music logo, it kind of says what it is. It's against having musical standards. Um, so I don't know where I lie in those arguments, but I'm just kind of here to check everything out and talk about it, talk about labels, have fun, promote my music is a big part of it. I'm not here to lie to you. I wanted to promote my music. Well, originally when I started this, I wanted this to be a platform for me to, or no, originally I was planning on doing a video where I explain my albums and what they mean. And it has become me, I think because it's fun and it gives me a reason to grab these releases, and it keeps me finding out about new things. It keeps me interacting with people. I never would have owned any of these CDs if I didn't do this. So it's pretty cool. I've listened to and found out about a lot of cool music. Fraction FX86. Now this is okay. That's on almost that rant I just went on is a good intro to Burial recordings, because Burial is always interesting, really cool stuff. Fraction FX86. This is a phenomenal piece of music. I would rank this maybe below Disorganism. I don't know where Postulated Orifice falls on the spectrum. I don't know. It's different. Um, it's different than either of these. But Fraction FX86 is like if you like harsh noise but you want something calmer. And I would say probably something calmer, maybe more complex. And Fraction FX86 I talked about was on the Nothing to See Here compilation. And did was on Miracast, which is a really great tape label, but it's in another country, so I didn't grab it. Really active artist and really quality. You can get on Miracast. There's like a tape box set, and there's also a poster with it or something. And I'm gonna pull up my notes for it because I know there was a lot going on. But yeah, and I have a few more releases from Burial, but I'm gonna save that for another video that I listened to. Wrong notebook. Yep, Cleanse. Cleanse is the name of the album. I didn't take that many notes. But yeah. I don't know what to say about this one. I really do know it was good. But yeah, and it says Anti-Music Militia on the back of it too. Does it say it on the back of on the back of all the Burial? No. But yeah, Burial is like probably my favorite label right now. So yeah, I will put these in the archive and save these for next week. RSN, okay. Postural, Deep Nettle, 10th Plague, Bleak is going to be on it, and DCLNR. And these, I have to tell you, are all albums that I'm pretty impressed with. And yeah, I'll go over Fraction FX86 because I don't really remember it that much. Yeah, I've been listening to a lot of stuff. So, good stuff. Thank you so much. See you next week.